Let's go to this one over here. Just colors. There we go. All right. So I hope this made sense so far. So now let's delete this. Let's go over some more examples of the ranges inside a range. So we have this range right here. Price broke structure. And let's say it's 1 hour. And let's color this purple. So the purple is the 1 hour. All right. So from A to B. And then we have 15-minute. So that would be green. Okay. 15-minute high is being shared, which becomes A, with B. Broke structure. Now it's going to create that weak low. Okay. In this range, because once a strong high is created, a weak low is automatically made. Our target is that weak low for that range, for 15-minute range, for range A. And then price will pull back up. And of course, we have some liquidity here. Take it out, right? And then we target this. Now, let's say we have liquidity right here on the bigger range, on the purple one. Right? That's where price can come into, and then go up to take out this external range. After internal is taken, external is our next target. So now, how can you maximize this short from up here? How can you maximize that short from up there? Well, if you know that the bigger range has liquidity, internal liquidity in here, and there's a POI just below, right there, then your target has to be the internal liquidity of this range. We're not going to target the POI. That's important. We're not going to target the POI. We're going to target the internal range of the bigger range. Whether it's the 4, 1, remember the market is fractal, right? If you're not going to target this low right here, then you can target the bigger range liquidity. Why is that? Because let's say that price does this. Let's say price takes this low out, and then this happens, reverses. You just left all of this, right? Let's say that you were floating, let's say $1,000. Pull back, now you're floating only 100. Or maybe it took you at break even and then it dropped and then it went. See what I'm saying? So now we're talking in the perspective, let's say, right? If there was liquidity here and there was a POI just below that. So many colors, right? It taps into there and never hits the POI, and then it pulls back. And then it comes, then it goes, okay? That's why we target the internal liquidity. Here, wrong color, but yeah, right there. But let's say price comes, reverses, just like the first time I did this, right? and it takes you out break even. Well, there's nothing you can do. That happens. Then it drops. And then it takes a liquidity, but it still comes back up. Then it drops one more time, then it goes. This can happen. It's simply building up liquidity. This is a more realistic scenario, of course, right? So that's where you pay yourself. That's why we target. This is our first target. The low or the high of every range external is our always our first target. In other words, I call it our safe target. Okay. Because we have a higher chance of this just hitting to the T before it makes on top of reversal than if it coming all the way down here. Because who knows, it could take forever before it comes down here. But it's our safe target. If you don't want to target this, you want to hold into here, then you're going to take partials. Now, how many? Well, not how many, but how much percentage or let's say partial should I take? That really depends on you, to be honest. I'd take 50% on that low. Because again, this could reverse and break me even and then drop. At least I paid myself. Right? At least 50%. That's just me. Or you can take all of it. Right? This is a personal choice because it depends on your account size. It depends your goals. Are you compounding? Are you doing FTMO? Whatever. This is a personal thing. And this will be covered in a different video, but for now, let's say we take 100% right here. So nice. And the rest comes in here, pulls back, then it comes, then it goes. Okay. So I hope this makes sense so far. I know it's a lot of information to take in. That's why you gotta rewatch it. All right. So we covered liquidity. Okay. We covered external liquidity. External liquidity was covered. That's the highs. All right. And the lows. All right. That's external liquidity. External. We covered internal liquidity, which is what's inside the range. All right. While it's forming, that's the internal liquidity. And then we covered inducement, which would be a failure swing. Then it gets taken. That's an inducement. And then we covered ranges sharing a structure point, right? Sharing a structure point. That is happening here. Okay, sharing a structure point. So we got green and red is sharing this low right here. And sometimes they might even share the highs, but it goes vice versa. It goes both sides. Okay. And then we went over potential targets, which was the internal liquidity of a higher time frame range. If you're not going to target the external liquidity of your current range. We understand that there is a range inside of a range, right? And we also understood pretty much the difference between a inducement and internal liquidity, right? Now, let's go over one more thing. Let's say we create 15-minute, we get inducement, gets taken, comes to a point of interest. And we also have the high being shared with this one. That's our first target. And then if the 1 hour is the white, the 15-minute is the red, then let's say the 1 minute is the purple. So the purple high was shared with the red. So the same thing happens, inducement, short, and we still target that range, right? This goes back to what I said. The market is fractal, a range inside of a range. Now, again, this is the basics of the range, okay? So I hope this makes sense so far. Like always, if any questions, you can ask me. There will also be some resources down below this video for those that want to read. Or if you need any more help understanding this stuff. But that's it for this. On to the next one.